Bharat Madan, Group CFO at Escorts, joining in the show right now. Bharat, hi, morning. Good to have you on the show. Still comfortable and have good visibility when it comes to tractor sales?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I think the sentiments on the ground are quite strong. So I think what we've seen in the last few months, so the industry continues to give very positive surprises, and we expect the momentum to continue as we move to the festive season months now.
Okay. I was just wondering whether the supply situation has eased now and what exactly is the inventory update at the factory level as well as at the dealer level.
See, in August, obviously, like I said, July, August typically are soft months, so that's why I think there's still some comfort. So I think from the second week of August, we started getting the supplies, which are sufficient now. So I think we are today working on the peak capacity level. But yes, as we move to the festive season and looking at the demand trend now, obviously supply will always remain a constant. So obviously looking at this now next 2-3 months position now. So I think it's going to be a hand-to-mouth situation as you move to the festive season where the demand is quite strong. So I think whatever we do, whatever supply constants we tackle, still I think the situation will remain tight in the stocking front. So this month, yes, some stocking has happened so that the production was comfortable, which we started now impacting retail sales to some extent. But as we move into the next 2 months, which are going to be the peak season months now, so obviously production will run at the full capacity and we expect probably the sales momentum to continue in the demand side also.
Okay, so that's the outlook there as well. Earlier on, Mr. Nanda had called agriculture a silver lining to the dark cloud that we're seeing because of the virus at the AGM. So it's very rare actually to see this situation come together, so many tailwinds that actually manage to aid demand, on the rural front. Do you see this being a sustainable trend going forward, Mr. Madan?
Yeah, we think now, I think like 6 to 8 quarters look like should be positive for the sector. Because if you look at the cycle also, and we've seen 6-7 quarters of degrowth now in the industry, and in spite of the COVID situation, the sentiments have started improving from February, March last year. So there were good green shoots visible even at that time on pre-lockdown stage when we actually went into the lockdown. And now I think all the factors we look at in the rural side are positive, whether it's in the monsoon curves, in the crop, in the harvesting good, the sowing has been better than last year. So we don't think there should be any impact. The water reservoirs are pretty good. I think the next 2 crop seasons looks like to be pretty good. So we expect, I think, as we move to FY22, with the whole, I think, next 6-8 quarters looks like very promising for the sector.
Okay, and specifically for Escorts as well, the kind of outlook, let's also factor in perhaps what's been happening in global markets, and the kind of traction that you're seeing there.
Yes, the demand has been quite good, but as we know, since the constraints have been on the supply, and obviously the first preference will always be to meet the domestic demand, because you also have good margins. So that has been our preference too. So even though in this month we've seen in August the exports volume had grown by almost 90%. So we have a good order book, but unfortunately because of the supply constraints, obviously there's a limitation which you can really fulfill those demands. But yes, some markets like Europe, etc., have started picking up and they're showing good trends. So we expect, I think, on a full year basis, still we will have a better export growth in this year too.
Right. My next question is that is the tractor industry in for a 2-3 year kind of a good demand trend uptick, or this is only for next 6 months and then we'll have to reassess it again?
So, because if I look at this cycle also for this industry, like mentioned, since the water reservoirs are quite good and you got a very good monsoon this year, so that means at least for next 2-3 crop season, the seasons will actually look good. And we expect, I think this trend should continue at least, I'll say, till June of 2022. So which means at least like 6-8 quarters will be actually positive for the industry. And obviously after that it will depend on how in 22-23 we got the monsoon, how it splits out. But otherwise normally we think this is the start of the next cycle, not growth cycle, and this should continue at least for 2-3 years.
Okay. I'm assuming that large part of your tractor capex is already behind. Now that demand has kicked in, can I imagine that there is going to be a huge scope for operating leverage and margin expansion in coming quarters?
So I won't say the capex program is over. So obviously there's some capex which is still in the pipeline. So last year also, and maybe some deferred some other capex, especially in the capacity fund, which is happening now in this year. So JV with Kubota will also start operating now. I think the production is likely to start maybe by end of this month. They'll start load filling of the commercial production now. So yes, I think as you mentioned, so operating leverage definitely will have a good place because every 10% actually will add some percent to our bottom line, to our margin. So as we look at the volumes moving up and looking at some possible share of market movement, so we expect I think that should actually have a good play on the margin front.